How did I get so lucky to interview this guy here twice in a week? Costaki, Economopoulos, the biggest name in show business. How are you?
Comedy, biggest name in comedy. Schwarzenegger beats me,
comedy,
but he's got like a lot of, it takes like 7 letters to make a schwa. That's not even fair. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you could be juggling. Then we could call you show business.
That's not the reason I'm not in show business.
I know it. We've been listening back to a lot of your stories that you were telling us last time we talked to you. You were going back in time and love the story about George Carlin. We shared a lot of stuff here that we didn't know about you.
Yeah, man.
It's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I love this craft and all the little pieces of it. I'm a fascinated little student of it still. Yeah. So
that's great.
Whenever just recently I went to a couple of comedy shows as a consumer, and they were fun. I enjoy them.
When are you going to be driving to Iowa here soon? You're coming to the Midwest. I know you have a few dates around.
I'm flying Wednesday, and I'm telling jokes Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 4 shows, 4 cities, 4 dates. So it's going to be fun. That's how I do it now. I do one flight, one car, do a little circle, talk to as many people as I can, come back, run around with kids. It's a crazy pattern, but it works pretty well. I'm a lucky man.
Especially in March, you got to fly because you never know about the weather, right?
That's right.
In the wintertime.
That's right. There's actually some talk about we might get some snow this week.
It sounds like it, but we haven't had anything. Hardly anything. We had one snowstorm.
Wow, that's crazy.
Winter. Oh, I know.
Northern Iowa, that's a crazy gift.
It was a great time to have my snowblower in the shop. It needed a part, and it took 2.5 months to get that part.
There's an Iowa thing, you would say. It's a good time to have my snowblower in the shop.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, Costaki's coming to the Boulevard on Sunday night. You can still get tickets yet, Costaki.com, or you can go into the Boulevard and get them right there if you want. I wouldn't wait until show night.
Yeah, it's possible it sells out, and it's a pretty small venue. So if you definitely want to come, definitely buy the tickets, and then you don't have to sweat it. We'll see you soon.
That sounds great. Well, we've got a lot of stuff here in football going on. Holy cow. I don't even know how you have time to write a joke. As soon as you write one, another one's coming out.
And as a fantasy dork, I'm going to have to have a sheet of all the teams during the draft next year, because 20 of the biggest stars in fantasy move teams. It's crazy.
I know it.
There's guys moving all over the place.
I did hear Kirk Cousins is not going to take number 8.
Yeah, that surprised me, right? They already kidded about 18. It and settled it. I thought it's going to be number 18. We'll take it.
I just can't wait to hear you talk about Cousins. You were talking about him before. Talking about it anymore.
Well, Cousins said this week the owner, the head coach, the GM, and the quarterback are all on the same page. Fitting, because Kirk always looks good on paper. A page is a good metaphor for this guy.
That's so true. Well, on paper, they look great. Yeah, that's what counts.
What's happening in your part of the world? Haiti has a better succession plan than the Vikings.
Yeah.
What are they?
We're just not saying much.
What are they doing?
Well, here's the deal. They got 11-23. Okay, and word has it they just grabbed that other one from Houston so they could bargain a little bit and get up closer to, I don't know, 5. I mean, I think they pretty much want McCarthy. I think that's the guy they want, but
the top 3 are too far to reach, and he's gettable.
Yeah,
and he's good. Yeah, I mean, at least you sell tickets based on the excitement of something like that. It's got hope.
Yeah, a little bit.
Right, I know, right?
I mean, just to get there and get in the win column, get a playoff game or two. I mean, we haven't been deep in the playoffs since we had old Keenum.
Yeah, that's right.
That was before Cousins came.
I like Keenum. Now, where is he? Is he a backup somewhere? He's still working, right?
I think so. I think he was with Cleveland, if I remember right. But I don't know. He's played with every team.
He's moved around. Yeah, Cleveland has Jameis Winston this year. That's one of the many things to try to keep up with. The Broncos have a new NFL record. Dead cap hit to release Russell Wilson.
Oh,
that's got to hurt. I've been fired a few times in my life, Harry, but
Yeah.
no one ever threw $85 million in the trash to make sure I left. You know what I mean?
I know. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
And the
Of course,
Steelers,
and then the Steelers picked him up for what, $1 million?
1.2 million, the league minimum for a veteran. You know who could have signed him for that? You know, who needs a quarterback who's a bargain? The Broncos. The Broncos.
Yeah. Broncos.
They sure could use a guy like that.
Hey, let's bring him back. Save a little bit of money. Pay him anyway. That's just crazy. That's like a really bad divorce.
It is. I was just talking to a football nerd friend of mine, and he can't think of another time that anything like this has happened. And to the casual listener who might not be following all the details, Russell Wilson is guaranteed $39 million to play this year.
Mm-hmm.
And the Broncos are paying that less whatever the other team pays him to play this year, which you would think would be in the neighborhood of 25 million,
right,
30 million. But he went and signed for the veteran minimum to stick it to the prior team. So the Broncos are paying like almost $38 million for him to play for the other team. And that is going to likely repeat itself next year. I think they're on the hook for $45 million next year.
That's just nuts.
It's crazy. It's a crazy situation.
I hope they play each other.
And so what the Steelers have basically a free quarterback, and unbelievably, they went out and got a second almost free quarterback.
Yeah.
They signed Justin Fields, who's still on his rookie contract, and they gave up a 6th round pick next year. Not even a 6th round pick next month. Next year.
So they got Rudolph. And
I think Rudolph moved after they signed Justin. Rudolph was like, "See you later," and he signed with somebody else. I forget now. But they got the two that are really cheap and arguably both top 32 quarterbacks, right?
And I think Pickett was pissed. That's why he was up and left.
Pickett also left. I don't blame him. I don't. You know.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? I'm out of here.
So the free agency, it was crazy. The one team that did nothing was the Dallas Cowboys. It was like that Charlie Brown trick or treat thing. Like, I got Derrick Henry. I got Josh Jacobs. I got Saquon Barkley. I got a rock. They're sitting there with 10 great running backs moving all over the place, and they picked nobody, and they definitely need a running back. It's a really weird choice for them.
I don't know why they just did nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Presumably they have money issues and they're going to try to address this in the draft. I don't know. It seems, to the casual observer, it seems like that's the only piece missing on their offense.
Right.
And then the Chargers did some weird stuff. They cut Mike Williams. They traded Keenan Allen. And then I saw a picture of Jim Harbaugh with his Coke bottle, Mr. Magoo glasses. And I thought, oh, that's what happened. He was watching Quentin Johnston's tape without his glasses. He was like, we'll be fine with that kid. We'll just run with that kid.
See, I think, it would be kind of funny if the Vikings want to trade up with the Chargers, Harbaugh gets a reunion with his old quarterback, and we take Herbert.
That's interesting. You can't give up Herbert, though, even if you wanted to. The perception of that, because you got one.
Yeah.
You finally got like a top 7 guy. You can't let him go, even if you want to.
But it's Harbaugh's team, and so
that's true.
He wants to do what he wants.
They have been releasing all of their stars in the last couple of weeks. Austin Eckler's gone, and Mike Williams, and Keenan Allen, and it's crazy.
Hey, I was going to ask you, do you talk much football in your stand-up then?
It depends. It depends on the situation. Usually it's a relatively small part of the whatever it is. Right. And like when I'm at Boulevard this week, that's what's fun about these kind of shows. I can do well over an hour. So we'll do everything. We'll do edgy and dark and clean and silly and crowd work and football and relationships and divorce. And I can really do all the things. Football will probably be about a 10-minute chunk in a set like that, typically. But sometimes they're digging it. They're into it. I do a lot. Right. Sometimes I can sense they're done with it. I bail, go do something else, Well, it is March after all, but,
right. And I was going to say maybe a joke or two about bracketology.
Oh yeah, I don't know anything. A friend of mine said to me today that Iowa State's doing well, and I was like, oh no,
Yeah,
I don't want that. Not this week.
that's right. Well, I think all the games will be done by the time.
Is that
Well, I
right?
don't know. What do they start like at what 11 o'clock in the morning? Then they oh yeah they do go till late but I don't think on
Every
Sunday night they do. They
every
don't go
like
late on Sunday night.
it's almost like the cicadas or something. About every 10 years, I do a gig and I'm in some tiny little town that makes it to the final four. And I'm just talking to no one.
It's kind of like doing a gig on Super Bowl night. It's like, okay, well, thanks everybody.
And then
for coming out.
and because that has happened to me, I think twice. Now I'm like, no, Ball State, don't win. Like
Yeah,
now
right,
I only care because I don't want them in the way.
I
That's
understand.
it.
But yeah, no, it has been frenzier than frenzy for this whole NFL free agency thing.
Oh man, nuts.
I'm almost worn out now, and it's like, oh, and how long is it before the draft?
I know. We got another month till the draft. I'm going to the draft. It's going to be fun. If you've never been, man, try to go. Next year, it's in Lambeau, so that's a drivable for you.
Wow.
Consider
They're
it.
going from Detroit this year
Yeah.
to Green Bay.
They've turned it into a roving circus. My brother and I he's been to 3, I've been to 2, and they are so fun. We're going to try to go every year. We did Vegas together and we did Kansas City, and both were just like a zoo and fun. And what's fun about it? First of all, it's free. There's no there's no ticket. It's just you just go, and there's
just go in there.
200,000 people wandering around, and everyone's in their garb with their hope, and they're all football nerds, and so everyone knows like. You find a Vikings fan, you're like, what are you guys rooting for this year? And you kind of commiserate and you turn and watch, and there's no game, so nobody's pissed about anything.
No, nobody's ahead or behind or anything like that.
It's weirdly fun. It's like a little football island in the middle of the off season.
It's like little cheers like they're at soccer.
Yeah.
They get excited for about a minute, and then it's like, okay, well, now we're back to
Oh yeah, and then there's little cabals of like fans from different teams, and then you walk down the street and you see a dude with a Dion jersey, Falcons jersey from way back, and you stop and high five him and commiserate about what you want for the Falcons, and it's like this weird little tribalism, but there's no bad energy. It's all positive. It's weirdly fun.
It kind of reminds me too, when you speak of everybody as representing everybody there. I have been to, well, as you know, we've talked before. I'm a Viking season ticket holder, and I cannot believe how many times I'm at a home game, and I will, of course, you see the opposing teams, people representing the opposing team, but what I don't get, I swear to God, Costaki, there's at least 20 to 30 jerseys I see representing some other team.
Some random, yes.
That's not even playing. And I'm just like, what?
What's funny? I have complained about those guys for years. I'll go to like a Rams Saints game, and there'll be some random dude wearing a Bengals jersey. I'm like, what are you doing?
Wrong game, dude.
But you know what? I'm guilty of this. Twice now. A Cowboys friend of mine has taken me to the Cowboys training camp in Oxnard. It's drivable for us. It's about an hour, and twice we've gone, and both times I wore my Falcon shirt.
So you're one of them.
I'm now one of them. So I get it. I get it. And it's fun. The Cowboys fans always look at me and give me a hard time, and I give it back. And it's like, they recognize. It's actually, football nerds kind of respect this in a weird way, because they recognize that you're in on the scene, football, and you have an allegiance to a different thing. Right. So there's this weird sort of respect about it, even if it's ball busty. They're like, right, he's a Falcons fan. Like, I'm not wearing it because they're awesome, and I'm like, it's not a coattail situation. So they know I'm a hardcore fan, so
I want to say the last time I saw when Atlanta was playing Minnesota here, I can't remember what year it was or whatever. There was some jerseys out there that had making fun of the Atlanta New England Super Bowl.
Oh yes, of course. Yes.
And I can't remember what the thing said, if it was like the score in the third quarter was
Yeah,
this.
yeah. 28-3 is the go-to.
28-3, and we
That's
lost.
the go-to taunt for the Falcons characters. Yeah, right. We know. But here's the fun part. The Patriots suck right now. Oh, they're so bad. It's over. Brady's gone. Belichick's gone. They don't have a quarterback. When I see a little kid wearing a Patriots jersey, it's hard for me not to run over and go, "It's over. You missed it."
That's right. Oh gosh. And there's no more Belichick crying or anything like that. No more on to Cincinnati.
No.
None of that stuff.
We'll see. You're a broadcaster. Do you think he's going to be good at broadcasting?
Oh my God, no.
They say he's lovable and insightful, and he's good at this kind of stuff.
Wait a minute.
I've never seen it,
Well,
but
I've seen him in some in some appearances with other people or whatever, and he's just happy-go-lucky and jolly and everything else. Total opposite.
Even that's hard to imagine.
Doesn't make sense. All right, let's wrap it up here. Why don't you give us one or two to go out of here? And
let's see. We got a closer in this pile. All right, here's.
Well, let's tell everybody. Listen during the Bob and Tom show. When are you going to be on next? Is it next week?
I'm going to do a wrap up. No, I'm going to do a wrap up of the draft in about a month or so. I'm going to go to Detroit with my brother and come back, and we'll do a wrap up of the draft then for Bob and Tom. And the show is this week, so get your act together, folks. This is not a drill. I don't come to this part of the world very often. I'm happy to be there, and come see me. It's going to be fun.
Yep. It's going to be Sunday night, by the way, around 7:30. I don't know. Come on out for dinner as long as they're open. I don't know if they're open on Sundays, but they will be for comedy. So
they are. In fact, we debated where the thing was going to be, so we didn't screw up the dinner. Yeah, they're going to serve dinner. Come awesome. Join us for the whole deal.
All right, Costaki, it'll be good to see you Sunday night.
All right, let's get out on the corny joke. You ready?
Yep.
Some fans at the Chiefs-Dolphins playoff game are facing amputations as a result of frostbite. You know, back in the good old days, seeing a playoff game didn't cost you an arm and a leg.
I know. It does now. Totally.
A couple of toes, maybe. Yeah, it's
all right. Love it. Love it. Costaki, get your tickets, by the way, Costaki.com or at the Boulevard if you want to. But thanks for joining us today. I know you
always a pleasure, man. Good to talk to you. Thanks for all the doings, and I'll see you soon.
Safe travels.
Okay. Thanks, buddy.
You bet.